Does MMA need more weight classes? What do you guys think? That's the topic of tonight's video. So let's talk about it, shall we? What's up, guys? Fight Fiend Migs here, coming at you with another video. Thank you so much for joining me. So as you heard in the intro, the topic of this video is weight classes in MMA and should there be more of them. And this is after this past weekend's UFC card with Anthony Showtime Pettis moving up from lightweight to welterweight and fighting Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in a fight that really wasn't going Pettis' way until he landed that Superman punch, hook, whatever the hell you want to call it, off the fence. That's weight classes in MMA is a topic that's really hotly debated. Should there be more of them? Should there be less space in between weight classes? And I decided to make a video on it because I have my opinions about where the weight classes should be, how many there should be of them, and I think that's a topic that I would like to discuss with you guys. So one of the reasons I decided to make a video about weight classes in MMA is because it feels like damn near every event there's at least one fighter that doesn't make weight, or there's a fighter who hops on the scale looking gaunt as all fuck, and that sure as hell cannot be healthy. We saw Anthony Pettis. He made weight, no problem. He did look a little soft. Obviously, that's the excess weight. Ultimately, he won, so I don't know if that matters much. But because some of his losses were against pretty good grapplers, should he come across a good grappler at welterweight, chances are he'll be nullified. And I'm not sure if he necessarily is big enough for the weight class, and that's one of the reasons I decided to make a video on it. Basically, in my opinion, I feel that there are far too few weight classes, and there's basically too much space in between some of these weight divisions, and that leaves a lot of room for guys that I call tweeners. And the term tweeners I actually got from pro wrestling. I'm sure it's used elsewhere, but I got it from wrestling. And basically a tweener in pro wrestling world is a character who, or a wrestler whose character isn't necessarily a good guy or a bad guy, or a heel or a baby face when he comes out, when he debuts. He kind of lets the fans kind of decide. So he's not here or there. He's kind of in between. So I use it for MMA specifically when it comes to weight classes. Tweeners are guys who are too small for the weight division below them, but too small for the weight division above them, but too big for the weight division below them. Guys like Rich Franklin, who used to cut a shit ton of weight to make 185, but he didn't look exactly big at 205. Guys like Diego Sanchez, who he tried his hand at 145 and didn't work out, but it just seems like maybe he cuts too much to make 155, and he seems a little small for 170. Guys like Rafael dos Anjos, and they do well, of course, and they do win some fights, but they're guys that I call tweeners. Johnny Hendricks, who seems to struggle to make 170 pounds, but is too small, who looks way too small, and he's short for middleweight. And probably Hendricks is a bad example because we've heard and seen how he balloons in between fight camps. But you get my point. Basically, there's too few weight classes in my opinion, and there's too much of a gap in between some of these weight classes. So in addition to adding weight classes, in my opinion, oh, and on that topic, just so we're on the same page, I'm not talking about adding a ton of weight classes like professional boxing that has 17 of them. That's kind of exaggerating. On some of the smaller weight divisions in boxing, there is as little as 3 pounds difference. So that's a little much in my opinion. I don't feel that's necessary in MMA, but adding a few more, and not just adding a few more, but also recalibrating them so there's fewer space in between some of these weight divisions. And I typed it out here on my laptop. I'll pull it up here because I couldn't remember what it is right off hand. But this is, and because I'm new to YouTube and I don't know how to do this fancy smancy shit where I pop up the this little graphic on my monitor, or on the screen. I'm gonna include it in the details below in the description below, so you guys will see exactly what I'm talking about. So this is what I'm thinking about. All right, this is Fight Fiend Mig's new weight classes. So let's see here. We're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 weight classes, so not too far off from 17. Sorry guys. I know one of the reasons a lot of fans don't want to see more weight classes is because it's going to dilute the weight classes that are out there now, and yeah, that is going to happen. Frankly, that happens every single time there's a new weight class. It's just the nature of the beast. If you think about the middleweight division, 185 pounds, when there wasn't one at first, and it took a while for it to fill up, but it got to the point where Pride Fighting Championships had their version, 183 pounds, and a ton of fighters there. The UFC had their version, and a lot of good 185 pounders. Even Strikeforce had a lot of really good 185 pounders. So yeah, when the division first was introduced, well, in the UFC, we had Dave May fight, who the hell was it? I can't think of his name right now, but Dave May fought this dude for the middleweight title, and they both ended up eventually fighting at welterweight. So they weren't natural 185 pounders, so Gil Castillo was his name. Gil Castillo fought Dave Mene for the 185, the inaugural 185 pound title for the UFC, and those two guys eventually ended up fighting at welterweight. So yeah, adding weight classes is definitely going to dilute them, yeah, but I mean they're going to fill in. They're going to fill in, that I can guarantee you. So check this out. This is what I have in mind. Starting off with the smallest weight division, which is flyweight, 125 pound limit. All right. Bantamweight is 132 pounds limit. Featherweight is 140 pounds. That's the weight limit for that one. Super featherweight is 147 pounds. Lightweight is 155 pounds. Super lightweight is 163 pounds. Welterweight is 170 pounds. Weight is now. Super welterweight is 177 pounds. Middleweight is 185 pounds. Super middleweight is 194 pounds. Light heavyweight is 205, the weight is now. Cruiserweight is 225 pounds. And finally, heavyweight with its current limit at 265 pounds. So not just adding more weight classes, but also recalibrating them so there's less space in between them. If you guys will take a look, eventually you guys will see in the description, there is no more than 7 or 8 pounds in between some of these weight classes. So that's kind of what I was trying to aim for. I don't want there to be 10, 15 pound, 20 pound differences like there are now. There's 10 pounds between, featherweight and lightweight, 15 pounds between lightweight and welterweight. And then, let's see here, 170, and then 15 more pounds between that and welterweight and middleweight, and then 20 pounds between middleweight and light heavyweight, and then between light heavyweight and heavyweight, there's fucking 60 some odd pounds, it's just like, it's too much, and I didn't want there to be too many, and I kind of took my time thinking about this because I found myself adding way too many, so I even removed some, believe it or not, because if you notice, some of the heavier weight divisions, there's larger gaps in those. But anyway, that's kind of what I was thinking. In my opinion, I feel like there are far too few weight classes in MMA, and there needs to be more of them just to avoid from some of these guys cutting an extreme amount of weight. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. You're probably thinking there's going to be guys who are going to be cutting a tremendous amount of weight anyway. Guys who previously couldn't make, 145 pounds will be able to make 147 pounds, or guys who, fight at one weight division can now find themselves cutting a shit ton more to make it to the weight division below. So yeah, I don't think cutting weight is something that we can avoid from the sport entirely, but I think adding more weight classes and recalibrating them is probably the way to go. I know that isn't something that may be a popular decision or a popular opinion just because, the weight classes that we have now have been in place for such a long ass time. So in closing, I want to say thanks guys for listening to me ramble and rant. I know, as I mentioned, that adding a bunch of weight classes or new weight classes isn't probably going to be a popular opinion, but I did want to make sure that I wanted to talk about thought-provoking topics, and that's something that I would definitely want to have you guys talk about in the comments, or hell, if you guys disagree with me, by all means, let me know, because I feel like this is an open discussion, and it may not be something that is necessarily going to change in the world of MMA anytime soon. We have had guys like Dustin Poirier and a few others talking about a 165-pound title. Obviously, that's probably not going to happen. Even Dan Hardy mentioned it in his one of his recent tweets. But anyway, my personal opinion, I think more weight classes will help. Recalibrating them also. So if you guys agree or disagree, by all means, let me know. I'm willing to hear you guys out. And of course, a yes or no isn't enough, let me know why. If it's like, yeah, yeah, that sounds good, man. Here's why. Or I know it's probably a bad idea, and here's why. By all means, I'm open to discussion. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. One of these corners here is going to have a little square where you guys can subscribe, and then hit that bell, of course, so you guys get notified anytime I release a video. But for now, that's it, guys. Once more, Fight Fiend Makes here. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, and hope to see you guys real soon.